Toastmasters who have had varying experiences in pathways and how to make it practical. And they are giving up their time and their efforts to participate this evening to share with us more on how we can make pathways work for us. Kickstarting our panel discussion, we have past District Director Fabiola Cleofa. Fabiola is known across the district as someone who gives up her time and effort in supporting various initiatives. We're super happy to have her as one of the leading persons who has focused her efforts on making sure persons are aware of pathways and what we can do to truly leverage it. We're also blessed to have with us Division Director Karen Thomas, someone who also loves to share her time and can be found in many meetings each week. She has also been one of our Pathways forerunners, and I'm happy to have her as part of this panel today. And our third and final panelist for this session is Division Director Nora, someone who has a personal love and drive to ensure Pathways is working for all the members of Division G, and she has been sharing her knowledge and her thoughts across our district in various different meetings and sessions. We're truly blessed to have all three of them sharing their experiences with us. Ladies, thank you again for your time, and let's just dive right into letting our family know what your thoughts are and how we can all make Pathways practical and make it work for us. Our first questions are around the Pathways practicality. Panelist Fabiola, what are some specific ways in which you have applied the skills you've learned in your chosen Pathways project in real life situations?
My first spot that I chose was persuasive influence. And it surprised me when I did my assessment and it came up like the first one to work on. My thing is, I think I can be very influential, but persuasive? No, I didn't think that. But taking on that path, it really put me to see those parts where I needed to work on to be more persuasive, and that by influencing people, you can also get them to go into a direction with persuading them and doing things that are beneficial for them. But also when you're leading, it is very important that you not only influence, but also persuade persons. So for me, that was one of the paths that has given me a lot of opportunity to know about myself and grow.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing that. Very interesting, Distinguished Toastmaster Fabiola. I will ask you the same question, Distinguished Toastmaster Karen. What are some of those specific ways in which you've applied the skills that you've learned in your chosen pathway projects in real life situations?
One of my first paths was effective coaching. I signed up for two, effective coaching and dynamic leadership. And I found that the two of them, which by the way were recommended for me when I took the assessment, I found that they took me down a different road. It made me look at leadership in a different way. One of the projects is manage change. And it was so coincidental that in my workplace, we had to do things differently at the onset of COVID. And I was able to use that project to help me to get the managers that I dealt with to even look at the new objectives, the new changes that they had to make because of pathways, and to sell it to them in such a way that they found palatable and acceptable. And I think that to me is a testament to how pathways integrates into the real world.
I really love that example that you've shared. And we take it for granted sometimes, but the key things that we have to deal with in our everyday lives, whether it's at work or in Toastmasters or other communities we're a part of, our Pathways projects can really help us make a difference in how we're able to show up and show out. Thank you for sharing that so far, Distinguished Toastmasters Fabi and Karen. And now we have Distinguished Toastmaster Nora, and you're going to close us out with this question. What are some of those specific ways that you've applied the skills you've learned in your chosen pathways project in real life situations?
Thank you for that question. And I was thinking about the first speech that I made in my club in 2018 using pathways and also dynamic leadership path. And one of the things that happened to me is that I was a professor, I was a psychologist, so I was giving speeches all over the place. But when I start talking and giving speeches in my club, I use a lot of PowerPoint with a lot of text. And my evaluation says, and my evaluator starts saying, get rid of the PowerPoint and start talking, memorize your speech. Oh my God, that I have to memorize all this speech and also talk from the heart. You are very academic and it's okay. You are giving a lot of data and a lot of information, but you are not connecting with your message. So start talking from the heart. And it was hard because I had to be vulnerable. Let me tell you, that advice helped me so much because then I learned to be myself, learned to how to express myself, how to share, or what to share about my life or the things that happen in my life to other people, and seeing the connection that I made with them and the reaction, the responses that I had from that day on. It was incredible also in my speeches as a professional, as a coach, as a professor. It has made a difference in my life that you can imagine. Thank you for that.
And thank you for sharing. That was definitely heartfelt. And I, for one, have seen the transition myself. I know some of the particular goals that you have and seeing how you've applied the various paths and the results that you've been able to show demonstrates that this is definitely the way to go for anyone looking to become a better version of themselves. Thank you, ladies, for sharing those very insightful experiences and how pathways actually is applicable to our everyday life. So we've moved from persuasive influence to using that to build capital. Then we have dynamic leadership path and how it helps you to manage change, to how it can help you to truly shine and work on those areas that can help you to be a better version of yourself. Now we're going to move into our second slate of questions, and we're going to talk about some key things around pathways that sometimes may not be fully understood. And we're going to start off with Fabiola, Distinguished Toastmaster. What are some common misconceptions about the Pathways program that you have encountered, and how would you address those misconceptions or myths?
Pathways is an online curriculum. Yes, indeed. You can find your curriculum online, but the Toastmaster experience, you don't need to be online to do it. As a matter of fact, I myself, I access my path online. I do the first part, which is the assessment before. Then I don't download the PDF and I work with the PDF offline. Going into the second misconception that it is all about speeches. Pathways is actually nothing else than a process. And that is where you grow. And when you go to the process, whatever you get out of that, you put that in a 5 to 7 minute speech, some 2 to 3 or some longer. But the speech is the last part of that project and of all that you learn. So it's not the speech which is the most important. I take for example, a project like thinking on positive. That project is a project that you cannot come in 1 or 2 days and tell your vice president education that you want to do that project. It is a 2 weeks project where you journal your thoughts on being positive, what it does for you, how your emotions are when things do not go as positive. How do you deal with that? And during 2 weeks, while journaling that, you learn so much about yourself. And then you can go to your club and make a 2-3 minute speech. And that is the growth. So no, it's not only a online program. And no, it's not only about speeches. It's about the growth and the process.
Powerful, powerful. And I love how you've put that together, Distinguished Toastmaster Fabiola. There's a lot of work you have to do for you to grow in the particular area that you're trying to grow in or gain certain competencies. The speech is just the way of you sharing that journey and the results of it, but it is not all that it's about. That's a very important point to highlight. Thank you for sharing that with us. And moving on now to Distinguished Toastmaster Karin with your second question. What advice would you give to someone who is hesitant to transition from the traditional education program we call legacy to pathways?
You remember that slogan, just do it? That is the advice I would give them. I have done both programs. And I believe that, as Distinguished Toastmaster Fabiola said, legacy was more about speeches. I think everything was a speech in legacy. Pathways is so much more. It makes you think. It makes you challenge yourself. If we want to grow and develop, then we have to change. Change is constant. Change is the only constant in our lives. If the early Toastmasters back in 1924 even saw legacy, it was different from what they did. So Toastmasters has adopted and adapted through the 100 years. Pathways is the next step on that journey. And if we want to grow and develop and not be dinosaurs, then we need to challenge ourselves and just do it. It's so interesting. I remember when in the early days of Pathways, and I looked at a project, manage online meetings, and I said, who, me, Corinne Thomas? Never, never, never. Fabiola laughs because she's heard me tell this story. Then comes a member who says, oh, Corinne, I want to do that project and I need you to evaluate me. And if she had seen my face, so I had to go and learn and understand this project so I could evaluate her properly. And by the time she finished it, I was hooked. It became one of my electives. And out of that, we had several different training sessions. And that's what we're doing. That prepared us for the online platform when Zoom came, because we were open. When you are open to new opportunities, they fall into your laps. And because of that, when COVID came, many of us as Toastmasters taught our workplaces, our associations, how to do online meetings. Suppose we didn't embrace Pathways, we'd have all been stuck. We would have been lost. We would have gone home and done nothing because we would not have known how to traverse the online space. And I think that is a powerful testimonial to Pathways and the benefits of Pathways, even over the legacy program, just even though that was quite robust and strong too. So anyone, older Toastmasters who feel that you can't do it, let me tell you, just do it.
Very insightful. And 2 points to highlight based on what you've shared. One, Pathways actually captures all those legacy projects in it. So it's just a more upgraded version to allow us to account for the changing times that we're in and better connect to what's happening in our environment. That was powerful. And I am so happy that we did make that transition so we can still enjoy Toastmasters today. Thank you so much for sharing that point, Distinguished Toastmaster Karen. And we're moving on to Nora for your second question. With all that you've experienced in Pathways, all the paths that you've completed, Have you found any unexpected benefits or outcomes from working through your Pathways projects?
I am finishing my 6th path right now. And one of the benefits that I can share with you right now is how to write a proposal. And that was for this, I think was the strategic relationship path. And it get in my lap in a very good time, because last year I was planning to do my DTM project, my Distinguished Toastmaster project. And I was thinking about having a family day for all the Division G. And it was the first activity that we were gonna have in person. So I get the location, and I thought and believed that we can do it. And then I get the project of how to write a proposal. So I get the instructions. I go through the manual. I prepare the proposal to present it to the division director for last year, and also the presidents of the club, because I needed them to collaborate with me, so to have the engaging all the clubs and all the members to attend to that family day. Because if not, I will need to pay for all the arrangements that I did for the location. And it was a success, because I was very careful to present all the details and what it is for me, and how we are going to plan, and the benefit that had the activity. And I have to tell you that it was a success, not just because of the proposal and all the arrangement that I did, but because the presidents felt respected. They had all the data they need, and the members enjoy the day. And we finished in the magazine of Toastmasters for, I think it was June or something like that. That's one of the benefits of working with unexpected projects on Pathways.
Thank you for sharing that with us, and congratulations again. We all witnessed that feature, and we loved that a lot more districts across the world and divisions in our district are considering leveraging a project of that nature. You highlighted something that is so powerful. Distinguished Toastmaster Nora, Fabiola, Distinguished Toastmasters Nora, Fabiola, and Karen, look at making a proposal. If you understand how to do that right, we could get projects approved in our workplace. We can get a number of communities taking on projects they never thought they could do. If we're adding persuasive influence to that, Madam Distinguished Toastmaster Fabiola, imagine where we can go. And if we're teaching persons how to navigate in this online space as well, especially in this time, Distinguished Toastmaster Karen, how much more can we achieve as individuals stepping out there and leading? You mentioned that some of us would have taught our companies how to transition, and you are correct. When I listen to some other organizations and how they deliver, it helped me recognize that I was taking for granted just how much value that I received from seeing how we navigated into the online space. And then I was able to not just help my company in different ways, but even others have those meetings to walk through and guide them on things that they can do. I even got a paid job from that. This is amazing. Pathways really is practical. We just need to learn how to make it work for us. Thank you so much for sharing on those points, ladies. I do want to ask Distinguished Toastmaster Fabiola a question. Now, we have quite a growing population. We have a lot of young persons who we're trying to attract and who we think could definitely benefit from Pathways. We have one particular situation. Let's say young John, he's 25 years old. He just joined Toastmasters, and he's now working in his organization. He wants to make a name for himself. He wants to get on the management track. How can he leverage Pathways to make it work in his favor?
Well, for starter, when I was asked to be on this interview, the first thing I did, I went to my path and I opened the project, How to Prepare for an Interview. The pointers that I got there, I'm applying them now. So imagine John, for starter, having a project like this prepares him to go into an interview to ask for a promotion, a job that he would aspire. But there are also other aspects of looking into any project that will help him to prepare better for this job. The persuasive influence, one of the key projects that also impacted me was networking. Now, this project asked me to connect with people that I usually don't connect with. And it was really something that I had to work on because I can stand in front of a crowd that I don't know and give a talk on something that I am very good at. But the one-on-one part, that is my biggest problem because you're vulnerable on that. So this project has helped me to really look into where I can improve. I still have problems with it, but it goes easier now. There are also other projects like taking on managing a project. If you go to one of those project, and it can be something in your company itself that you volunteer and help you to structure how to better your project management, dealing with a team, knowing how to communicate with them by looking into what are my communication styles, what are my leadership styles. A lot of us, we think we are leaders, we think we know it all, but all these parts, all these projects, they will help us to prepare. So as a young professional coming on, take on to be part of any club, focus on those specific projects that will help prepare you to be climbing that ladder, because yes, you do have your academic accolades, but finishing, for instance, your university doesn't give you the practice that you would love to get and get feedback how to do it better. So in a Toastmaster club and with the paths that you choose to better yourself, the feedback that you get, that is where you will grow and be more confident and know what your weaknesses are and how you can couple that with your strengths in order to get to your goals. So there is plenty that John can get out of working in any of those paths.
Well said. And to all our family members who are looking for opportunities to truly expand and grow in their organizations, going through the Pathways projects, as you've mentioned, Distinguished Toastmaster Fabiola, is one strategic way of helping them to get on that path. So I'm looking forward to hearing feedback from a number of our younger Toastmasters on how they're making it work for them based on your advice today. Distinguished Toastmaster Karen, here's a very interesting question I'd love for you to address. How can our club leaders and all the clubs across our district partner with members on their specific pathway goals and tie that into the Distinguished Club program, rather than building out the Distinguished Club program based on their thoughts on how we can achieve it? How can we make sure we're prioritizing our members' pathways goals and then using that to build out our Distinguished Club program goals, our plans to achieve them?
I think it's very important that you remember it is a partnership. In my club, what we have done for the past 3 years, and I can testify that it works, before we even look at the DCP, we ask our members some questions. Did you make a goal last year? If you did you achieve it? If not, why not? What stopped you? Was there anything the club could have done, anything more the club could have done to help you to achieve that goal? What are your plans for the new year, and how can we help you to achieve them? Based on those responses, we're then able to see what is likely to be the outcome. And we are then able to speak to the members to help them to achieve the goals. Because fine, someone may say, I want to finish my path or whatever. We then have to sit down as leaders and see what the club needs to put in place to help them to do that. We need to ensure that the members understand what projects there are in their individual paths and what they need. I believe that, and I found, it has been my experience, that a lot of times members don't forward plan. By that I mean, when they reach level 4, that's when they're looking at level 4. When they reach level 5, that's when they're looking at level 5. A lot of these later projects take time and they need work. As distinguished Toastmaster Fabiola said, there's one project that needs 2 weeks. Some of them need more. There's one that needs 6 months. So long before you get there, you need to be planning. As officers, and it's not just the VPE's responsibility, it's all officers and the mentors, we need to be guiding them, encouraging them to read, because I think that's a challenge. Encourage them to look at the projects and understand what they require and make a plan. Just like how in the workplace, when we get an assignment, we can't just start writing. We need to plan. We need to plan strategically what we are doing as a Toastmaster in our particular path. Officers have a role to play in doing that. It will reap many benefits if we adopt that approach. Firstly, members won't feel that they're being pressured. They won't feel that they're doing this speech or this project to give the club a point. Ask them, what are they doing in their workplace? Many of them belong to service clubs. They belong to groups in church. How can they strategize and look at the things that they have to do outside and align it to projects in the club? There are many opportunities. Leading in a voluntary organization is one. You heard Fabiola speak about managed projects. The high performance leadership does not have to be in your club. It can be outside, but we as officers need to guide them and encourage them and speak to them so they know what to do and how to do it. And it reaps benefits. You will get many more than those 6 education goals when you do it that way. And you will get satisfied members who year after year are eager and hungry to do it again. I have seen it work.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing that, distinguished Toastmaster Curran. And you're highlighting the point that the club exists to serve the member, not the other way around. So the club is a channel through which members get to pursue their goals. And by the member winning and achieving their goals, the club will benefit and the district. Everybody wins when our members win. Thank you for sharing that. And to wrap up this particular segment, I would love to hear from distinguished Toastmaster Nora. So Pathways is a main program for our Toastmasters members, but we also have non-members who can benefit from key programs we offer, such as Speechcrafts. If someone is looking to pursue a Speechcraft project, what is a process that you would advise them to walk through based on your experience to make sure that they're successful and they help to create more awareness about Toastmasters and what we can do for them.
What do you say about the first entry of a meal? So you can start
Appetizer?
taste what appetizer, an appetizer. The speechcraft is an appetizer. Because if somebody has so many questions or are have fear about public speaking, that we know that most of the people has, speechcraft help us to give them the opportunity in a safe place, in a safe environment where they know each other, to start practicing about the different things that pathways teach us, like about body language, about vocal variety, about how to organize a speech. That speechcraft gives us the opportunity to teach them 3 or 5 principles in each theme, and also give them the opportunity to apply them in their secure environment. I had the opportunity to give speechcraft to university students, to real estate agents, and also to a sales team for jewelry store. Different population, different people, different scenarios, but the speechcraft helped them. Not in the case of the jewelry and the real estate agents, it was because they had a team that they need the training to be more effective in their sales. So the company asked me to help them to go rapidly, to go quickly about all these things so they can apply them, the basic principles, and also to start working on it in their sales environment. In the case of the students, they had the opportunity that because they were in the university and they were graduation, they are in the verge of graduating, and they want to go to be in an interview, to have an interview, job interview, and also to work as a volunteer in some nonprofit organization. They need to be prepared to present themselves as a professional or as a young student with the capacity to think and to deliver a great speech or a great message in a short time. Speechcraft is the appetizer, but we as public speakers, members of Toastmasters, help them to enjoy the process, to feel comfortable working with the assignments that we had and we give them. And also when they see that they are applauded by their peers, and also to have the evaluation in person, and once they finish their speeches, and they get so many confidence that I had testimonies about, oh my God, I went to this conference, I start talking, and the people are saying, what happened to you? I know you weren't talking like that last year. So that many testimonies that help them to grow and to be success, that's a great start to know that you need to be in Toastmasters.
Powerful. And that is a perfect plug to just highlight how valuable a speechcraft can be to non-Toastmasters. So if there's anyone who has an interest, please, as distinguished Toastmaster Corinne had said before, just do it. And you will see the benefit unfold, as our distinguished Toastmaster Nora has highlighted. Ladies, before I ask a very interesting question that I'd personally like to hear from all of you, I would love to give you this opportunity to share your thoughts, your general thoughts on the discussion on pathways. And I'm going to start with Distinguished Toastmaster Karen first. Distinguished Toastmaster Karen, is there any general thoughts you want to share with our family members listening in, and especially probably highlight some aspects of resources they can leverage to learn more about Pathways?
One of the things I love most about Pathways is that every single project requires you to look inside yourself, to do a self-examination. From the beginning, if you do the self-assessment, it makes you think. It asks you questions, and even the paths that are recommended are based on your answers to those questions. If you do the Pathway Mentor Program, the first thing you have to do is examine yourself. What am I bringing as a mentor? So you have to look at yourself. If you do the projects and really read the projects, which are one of the best resources that you have, there is a self-assessment, a before, which Fabiola has mentioned, a before and after you do the project. The resources in those projects, most of them have videos if you use the online platform, and they help you. So you don't just learn what to do. It gives you tips on how to do it. Evaluations, for instance, researching and presenting. Our district has also developed several resources, quick tips and flyers that help you to navigate the program. If you are familiar and use Basecamp, there's also supplemental reading that they give you when you log in, and take the time to look at the opportunities. There's a plethora of information there just begging for us to use. And it can only redound to our benefit if we actually do use those resources. There also, if you're a person who uses the internet and Google, you'll find that other districts and divisions also will share resources. Even on Facebook, there is a group, an official Toastmasters group for Pathways. We just need to use them. They're just a fingertip away, and they really do help.
Perfect.
That answers.
There are endless resources that we can leverage. Thank you so much for sharing, Distinguished Toastmaster Karen. And I'll ask my next question to Distinguished Toastmaster Nora. We are in a platform, or using a platform, that allows us to improve our public speaking skills in ways that may contribute to our pocket and increased revenue if we want to speak and get paid. How can we leverage some of our Pathways projects to help us in this particular arena?
Most of the path, if not all, has at the level 4, the project how to speak professionally. And that helped us a lot. And I encourage all the leaders in my division to use it, because inside Toastmasters, we have the opportunity to train the club officers twice a year. And you have the chance to speak to them for 20 minutes, at least 20 minutes. That's one of the experiences that you had as a professional speaker. It's in your club, maybe it's in your division, but you are presenting yourself as that professional that is going to deliver a theme to a club officer and to a group that then they are going to evaluate you about your performance. And it's you, the one that is presenting. You know, the spotlight is on you. But also because you have this training in Toastmasters, you have the opportunity then to speak in your corporate realm, maybe because you need to present a report, an annual report, or maybe to have a staff meeting, or you have to present a proposal to somebody, or you need to persuade your supervisor or your director to clean about an idea that you have for your division or your department, you need to speak with confidence and security. So if you prepare to speak professionally and to go about the project that the pathways present to you, and you start working in Toastmasters, in your clubs, in every club that you can in Toastmasters, because you know you are in a safe place and also you are receiving evaluation, then or feedback. Then when you go to your company and you present yourself, no matter if it is just an event, the confidence that you are going to project when you are talking, because you are secure and you know and you prepare yourself and also you practice, is going to make a difference that, oh my God, the results and the reaction and the responses that you can have for that person that may be difficult to convince, I know you can do it if you go through the process.
Thank you for sharing that. Absolutely powerful, distinguished Toastmaster Nora. And you highlight the point, using Pathways and all the projects that are in Pathways can help you to enhance and increase your network, but it's also an opportunity to increase your net worth with what you're able to earn and gain from the process. Thank you for sharing. I do have a few Pathways updates that I'm going to use this opportunity to share, and then I'd love to wrap with one final questions from our distinguished panelists. We do have some changes coming to Pathways in the first half of 2024. We will be unveiling the new learning management system, a part of our World Headquarters objective in improving the experience we have when we're navigating Basecamp online. So for our Basecamp managers especially, if they are used to having to approve projects that have been completed or levels that have been completed in Basecamp, and then they have to go on over to Club Central to approve it, this is going to change. We'll have a one-step process where once it's approved in Basecamp, it will automatically translate to Club Central. So we won't have to worry about forgetting that we need to go and do that second part, and we can see all our projects going straight across and getting approved, and then we'll have the recognition credit for each of our members based on the jobs that they have done. For our mobile lovers or persons who are always on the go and want to be able to check in on their phones and see what's happening or use that to help them plan when they're in a line or when they're waiting, we will now have Pathways accessible via our mobile phones in a way that is clear, easy for us to track and navigate. And I think it will be an amazing opportunity to increase our penetration in leveraging Basecamp and the features that are available through there. We do have some of our members who may be visually impaired and may have felt left out in how the system has been set up, but that will no longer be the case. Pathways will be reorganized and reoriented to make it practical to anyone who is visually impaired, so you can benefit from all the great features that Basecamp has to offer. And one of the exciting features that we love, for those of us who love to share on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram and some other social media platforms, our achievements, we now have the opportunity to go straight from Basecamp to any of those platforms. So you'll be able to easily integrate and share your achievements on all these social media platforms. And I think this is one of the direct ways in which you can let your community on these social media platforms know about Toastmasters and what they too can achieve if they join and become members. There are a lot more that will be coming up, but one particular question that has been highlighted on numerous occasions for some of our concerned members is what will happen if you are starting paths or currently working on paths that will no longer remain on the list of paths available to us next year. Not to worry, whatever you have started, you will get an opportunity to finish that path without any form of trouble, because the system will be set up in such a way that allows you to continue your path activities, your paths activities until you've closed that out. And you should not have any constraints in being able to complete the paths, whether or not they're going to be on the list that is available next year or not. The key thing is to make your plan, deliver your paths as you have planned with your Vice President Education and club executives, and just deliver the very best you can so you can continue reaping the benefits of our respective paths. And we are trying to learn more, and as more information becomes available, we'll be able to share with our members. There's also a question about what is the Explorations Initiative all about? Our World Headquarters team is working assiduously to pulling out how this will work, how we will be able to benefit from it. And once we have more information on that too, we will share. But we just ask everyone to stay tuned, be excited. Pathways is magic. And whatever changes are being made is with consideration for feedback that have been shared across the globe. So let us trust the process and trust our team to work something that is best for us. And once we have additional information, as I mentioned, we'll be able to share that to better prepare everyone for the changes to come. And on that note, I'd love to ask each of our panelists one final question. And this is, before I ask that, there's one particular question that is burning that I'd love to ask Distinguished Toastmaster Fabiola. Communication is so very important, and especially in District 81, we have one major barrier to communication, and that is the different languages. So based on how Pathways is set up right now, could you share with us your general thoughts on our discussion around Pathways, but also make mention of some of the languages that we have available to benefit from different types of materials?
All right. It was inspired working with the projects, and for my 5th DTM, I decided I'm going to do a project to translate all the material in my native language, Papiamento. Toastmaster International, with the introduction of Pathways, did increase the availability of languages. Before this, you only could get the materials in English and a couple of material in Spanish, very little, and also simple Chinese. But with Pathways, they added 8 languages to it. And then in 2021, they announced that they are opening it for any region in the world that wants to take on to help translate certain materials that they approve. They can take it on. So I decided, after being inspired actually with the then district director, now past district director, Innocent, that took on to do the French translation, I decided I want to take on this part. So at this moment, working with a project of Pathways, putting together a team, we are translating the Pathways material in Papiamento, because although we do speak 4 different languages, most of us, it's always nice to have that material in your heart's native language. So that is what we're doing. And it is also very good that we can do this, because there are quite some people around that do speak Papiamento, and it also came to at the point where, because of Toastmaster and because of doing so many projects, I finally decided to launch myself doing translation, which is now my 2nd profession, you can say, that I'm full into translation. So doing that aspect of it also, voluntary, working with a team, is perfect. So I'm loving it.
Thank you for sharing, Distinguished Toastmaster Fabiola. 2 things that I've taken away is that we do have Pathways materials available in other languages, but we also need to have a lot more translations done to have the entire paths and supporting materials available. So for all our members who are fluent speakers in both English and Spanish who would like to be a part of that process, Please let us know if you're also interested in joining Distinguished Toastmaster Fabiola and her team in translating Papiamento materials, or Distinguished Toastmaster Past Didi Innocent in supporting French Creole materials being translated. Let us know. And if you want to participate in processes for those who fluently speak Dutch and English, there is also an opportunity. For now, please write to us at dd@caribbeantoastmasters.com or am@caribbeantoastmasters.com, and we can make the necessary connection, or you can reach out to our leaders themselves, Distinguished Toastmaster Fabiola, and for our Spanish team, Distinguished Toastmaster Nora, who's been avidly also helping us with translations for the district. And Distinguished Toastmaster Fabiola is a frequent contributor in this regard. So thank you so much, ladies, and Distinguished Toastmaster Fabiola, for sharing that. And also sharing that this could be an opportunity for work for those who are so interested. All right, ladies, my final question for all of you, and I'm going to start off with Distinguished Toastmaster Nora in this case. Distinguished Toastmaster Nora, can you share a personal success story or another one or experience that directly resulted from completing a Pathways project?
I'm really not going to talk about Pathways. I'm going to talk about Toastmasters.
Okay.
Because I start with Pathways because I want to be a public speaker. But Toastmaster helped me to build my character as a leader. And that was a surprise for me. Because I knew that I was an administrator. And I didn't think about me as a leader. But all the projects that Pathway led me to do and to challenge me in some kind of way, I had to do it with my club, with my team, with people that has many personalities, and we have some differences. And some projects of the Pathways, like conflict resolution or managing difficult people or audiences, that helped me a lot to find myself, to see how I respond to different characters and personalities and situations, and helped me to find that link that was missing in me, because I was strong in character, but I didn't have the self-control. So Pathways and Toastmasters have helped me to be a better person, to become a better person, not just in mind and in body, but also in spirit. Because Toastmasters is an holistic process, and it's an holistic tool or resource that God put in my hand, and it has been like passing a retreat, to being in a retreat. And I love every part of the process. Some difficulties, some very hard parts, but a lot of enjoyment in the process. And just because I let myself go with the process and didn't resist it, now I can tell that in 5 years that I had in Toastmasters, I went from a public speaker mentee to be area director, president, VPPR, VPPM, and you name it, all the roles and positions that I didn't know that I could possibly do, and had the response that I now, as a director, division director, I had with my team. And I had to say that it's Toastmasters, but Pathways, that it was the resource that Toastmasters used for me to let me build my character and to be more in connection with other people and start learning to listen, to respond, and to start valuing the needs of other people and help them to find themselves also in the process. That's why I love Toastmasters.
I am so inspired by your testimonial and can draw some parallels myself. Thank you for sharing this with us and for reiterating the importance of taking on the Pathways program and truly leveraging every single aspect of it to grow your skill set, to enhance what you're able to achieve and how you're able to deliver and show up in service of yourself and others. Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Nora. Distinguished Toastmaster Fabiola, I'm going to ask you the same question. Share with us a personal success story or experience that directly resulted from completing a Pathways project, or another experience. You've shared quite a few.
What kept me in Toastmaster is Pathways.
Ooh.
In 2018, when I was appointed Pathways Chief Ambassador of District 81, I started to dive into Pathways, and it really excited me to see, hey, I can grow, I can go into other directions because before that I said, well, with 3 DTMs already, I don't think there is much more that I can learn. But I love the camaraderie and networking. So I will stay with maybe one club and just, be there. But when I got into Pathways, it really kept me into Toastmaster and actually taking on higher leadership responsibilities because I was always there to help, to be sharing my knowledge, but don't ask me to be in the front line. But because of Pathways, it really pushed me to look into other leadership aspects. And as a matter of fact, being the district director, I took on to do a project by inspiring the team that I had to work with, helping them through projects that I have done in persuasive influence and motivational strategies. And those two parts really helped me to grow as a person, as a leader, learn to know myself and my strengths and the weaknesses that I had to work on, and had the opportunity to apply that and see my personal growth. So this is what is keeping me in Toastmaster. And even last year, I was thinking, okay, this is, time for me to step back. But each time that I do that, there is another interesting project that I can use any project in Pathways to propel myself on a higher level. So not only one path, but several projects has helped me to continue to stay very active in Toastmasters.
I love that, distinguished Toastmaster Fabiola, and it calls to memory the famous quote from our first international president that we all love is, if you get out of Toastmasters, what there is to get out of Toastmasters, you'll probably never get out of Toastmasters. Thank you so much for sharing your experience and for your success story. And we look forward to seeing more that you will continue to add to our district and our family. Distinguished Toastmaster Karen, we're going to wrap this up with you. Please share with us another personal success story or experience that directly resulted from completing a Pathways project.
I too have found that Toastmasters has stretched me, has changed me. For those of you who don't know me that well, I have a temper. And over the years as a Toastmasters, it's really helped me to do things differently, to pause and reframe what I'm going to say before I say it. And that has helped me tremendously, to the point where sometimes in my club, there are people who they will say, I don't know how you deal with that person. When there are certain people that they leave me to deal with because they think only I can handle them. And it's not that I don't get upset, but I don't fly off the handle anymore. So that I pause and I take a deep breath. And then, so that is one benefit of Toastmasters. And as I have embraced Pathways, I found that the introspection that you have to do has made me look at myself and others in a new way. I've mentored several people, but when I went into the Pathways mentor program, as I said, the first thing it does is make you examine yourself. What are you bringing to the table as a mentor? And that had a profound impact on me because it made me have to stop and think and look. Am I doing it for them? Am I doing it for myself? What am I really bringing? And it let me, I believe, treat my proteges in a different way. But the success story I really want to talk about is not my success story, although I had a part in it. You've heard distinguished Toastmaster Fabiola say it's an online platform. And those of us who are more mature may find that off-putting, but I want to tell you, do not. 2 years ago, Dynamic Speakers was celebrating our 30th anniversary, and we had a number of events that we wanted to do, and we wanted persons to take it on and do. We divided up the things that we wanted to do and to get as many projects for members out of it. One of the things that we wanted to do was to engage with some of our former members, a couple of our former members who were still around, to hear their story about starting the club and a few other, and it morphed. One of our members who says she's not a techie decided that she's going to do that project, do a podcast. And let me tell you, in Jamaica, we say sell off. She took it on. She got some of the other persons, the technical people, to help her, but she took it on, and it was such a success because she stepped out of her comfort zone, and it made her so confident that there's so many other things that she's taking on now because she successfully challenged herself. And we encouraged her and said yes, and we gave her the guidance, but it was her project, and it was so successfully executed. And that, for me, is the testament to Pathways. There's some projects that we wouldn't think about. In fact, I'm thinking, having seen her success, I believe that one of the things that I'm going to do is write a blog and yes, I'm sure that and take on a podcast, because I figure if she can do it and do it so successfully, I'm going to try it. That is the beauty of Pathways. It just stretches you so much. And as I said, just do it. Try it. You're not going to fail. And even if you think you failed, there's no failure in Toastmasters. You've just learned another way. And I've seen so many people grow and develop because of Pathways and Toastmasters. So bring it on, people. Bring it on.
All right. Distinguished Toastmaster Karin, thank you for sharing that insightful experience. As the areas in which we can leverage Pathways, what is standing top of my mind is that Pathways really presents an increased opportunity to challenge ourselves, to really grow in areas that can be of tremendous value to us. We just have to step up to the plate in the same way we each made a decision to join Toastmasters and to break that ice and to get going and growing our skills. This is just an opportunity to elevate on that. And at the end of the process, every single person that I've heard from, and I've heard from quite a number of members of our family and outside of it, there is no one who can tell me that they are not better off from having made it work for them. So I want to thank you so much for sharing that. When it comes down to it, we have issues. Everyone knows that. And we have a whole team who is working to improve and to make it perfect. If there's ever a place and time where we will have that perfect world and that perfect pathways. But this program is magic. It can help to transform us in ways that we never even thought of. And the value we can get in how we're able to show up in our workplaces and in professional areas that can add to our net worth and what we can gain from it, not to mention what it does for us in reaching to our own personal goals of self-actualization. Everything can happen through the Pathways program. So if there's anyone that is still wondering, oh, I don't know, maybe not, we're challenging you to stop and really consider what you want for yourself. And then let's see how we can make Pathways help you to achieve it. We don't work for Pathways. Pathways works for us. Thank you again, ladies, for participating in this discussion and for your insightful feedback and stories that you've shared, as well as your advice, which I know everyone would be better for hearing. Thank you again, and do enjoy the rest of your evening. And that's a wrap.